So in my dream, at one point I remembered the details as I looked at two energies going on at the same time that basically have opposite effects, especially if you're to view these opposite effects as a sensation in which the determination inside yourself is one way or another kind of setness. But in this dream, I just recognized that the two effects are going on simultaneously, and that in one sense where something is expansive, it's like you're able to be offered something rather than taking the blow of something being overly expansive. And in the other way, where something is contractive, you're not lost in the contractiveness to where you're hurt that way either. In other words, in my dream, this wasn't confusing to me. I was able to be turned first one way or the other. It didn't matter, or turned both ways simultaneously. I took both extremes as simply being the way things are. I kind of pondered inside myself, but not really. I mean, I just noted the distinction, that if a person isn't fluid in their being, such a lifestyle in the world would be disconcerting. For me, it was what I had to adjust to, and my being responded accordingly. I could be both directions. And the meaning is that I'm describing the condition based upon just the inner vibration and being at ease with the inner vibration. Then the ways that things unfold or the degrees to which things are thrown around don't seem to hold sway or to have me definitively reactive one way or the other in some sort of cause and effect reactivity. So in the dream, in which I'm experiencing both up and down or expansive contractive simultaneously, I'm able to see myself shift as the circumstances require, but I also know that for most people, such a reality will drive them crazy. I can see how it could be difficult to me, but I just seem to have a natural way with it. And that's why I'm able to note that I'm able to be something that wouldn't ordinarily make sense to other people, because it's a way in which the mind and the outer has to go both directions simultaneously, which means that a person who's attached to set ideas and approaches would be very disturbed, because this isn't rational from a linear perspective in terms of outer life. Thus, a person caught up in any outer mannerism in some mental, spiritual, or ego way is going to be experiencing and noting this as a very disturbing and problematic condition. But for those able to be fluid, adaptable, and accepting, such a person can shift and adapt and go with the changes and the flow, not having to take them on in any one particular way that they have to be, and therefore doesn't have to suffer the stigma and nuances that are prevalent with those who have to have some set way or another. In times like this, the potentialities, the opposites there's a term for those. In Chinese spiritualities, they're called yin and yang, light and darkness, that both expand and contract simultaneously in terms of what an individual is able to experience from within. And when you reach a time like this, where the darkness aspect of things is able to intensify, as if everything is broken down and that there is no set order, its corollary in light also magnifies. And so this can be a time of great steps forward in inner spiritual consciousness. Not necessarily outer, but inner, which is when the individual's conscious light is able to constellate with the opposite, because it is okay with it. It's okay in both ways. It's neither holding on to one or the other. But in the outer collective, this is in effect with extreme consequences, because the expanse is taken in as being something more than what society can handle on a reflective level. And the contractive, of course, is technically viewed like the flip side of the coin, same way. So systems fail, and yet there is a way of being with that and not having to suffer. But those that are set and have to appreciate it in one way or another in terms of how they take it in, the reflections that they receive will lack the inner grace will not know how to sit in this as you're meant to sit, neither attached or detached in any regard. Those who have no other reality other than what exists in the outer, the breakdown of the social, economic, and natural order of the environment, which means even Mother Nature can be acting up and so on, will find things to be most confusing, disorienting, painful. And the one thing that they should be able to do, or should be doing, but aren't able to do, is staying in that inner interval or space that is expressed in terms of the breath as being the place where the in-breath turns into the out-breath, a place where nothing in creation has a fixed hold upon one's being, and that a person simply adjusts as need be if they find themselves in creation, but are also in this interval. And when you're in that interval, you feel the connection to your need. You are therefore able to fluidly go this way or that way without being hurt. In other words, expansively, contractively, simultaneously, whatever's going on just doesn't have a deep touch or hold upon you. Those caught up in the outer, though, take this in too literally and do not know how to do both simultaneously, do not have the flexibility, the fluidity, or able to relate to the heartfelt love and beauty within, where there is a protection in state of inner grace, because you're in a point where things have to just wait. It's the interlude between one step and the next. And for a person who is able to reside naturally in the inner outer, by embracing the nothingness that is everything that exists in creation, means that the interval where the in-breath turns to the out-breath, there is a naturalness and an emptiness from which manifestation actually manifests naturally, but from the seed of the latent out-breath, which hasn't yet happened. So things sit without a light. And at this interval, a person is at the creative epicenter of the light, harboring that which is yet to be in the inner emptiness that is meant to come from this inner emptiness and nothingness as an all-encompassing vibration that touches all alike. To reside here is to be at total ease with the expansive contracting, or inflation deflation, because there's nothing going on that is absolute yet as destined or predetermined in manifestation and creation that is pre-designed and is the precursor for a new era. In other words, the precursor hasn't yet been released, which it would be when the out-breath comes into play. The danger of this space, if viewed from the perspective of the outer, is that there is no fabric to the collective order from which a person can reflectively seek solace. Everything is subject to change at any given moment because there is no connection for the collective consciousness to turn to or shift or evolve.